We are live. I am Karen Ray. This is Fave Lifestyles, and we are starting a new series called Getting to Know You. So today I have two people with me, and I'm really excited to introduce you all to some of our contributors here at Fave Lifestyles, our experts, if you will. Kim Peterson is with us, and we're going to be chatting with her a little bit about who she is, kind of her road to where she's at today, and her new program that she's launching. So really excited to have you here, Kim.
Thank you. I'm excited to have this conversation with you ladies.
Yes, and then we have Deanna Nwadnik, who is an author and speaker, and she is one of our contributors as well. And you can find both of their articles at Fave Lifestyles, of course. And so Kim, I'm just going to give you a little introduction, if that's okay. Kim is championing your confident breakthroughs. She is a coach for the whole you. I'm helping you to reclaim your power, increase your confidence, and step into your purpose and potential. On the inside and out. You are a speaker, a trainer, a coach, a friend. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about you. You know, one of the things that I was really curious about, sometimes I like to just go back a little bit too, and I know we have a little outline, but I want to ask you a question. When you were in high school, were you into fashion? Because you dress so beautifully, and and you help other people to walk into not just their wardrobe, but to their whole you, their truth is what you talk a lot about.
Sure. So did you ask if I was into fashion?
Yeah, really. Were you really fashionable when you were in high school?
I would say by the time I got to high school, I was dabbling a lot more in that. Yes, but I wasn't. I was. Certainly I didn't know a thing really about fashion, or not so much. And I was an ugly duckling and didn't have money to look fashionable or to even consider that. So no, I wasn't always that. Mm-hmm. By the time I got to high school, I learned to tear my nickel into a quarter at the thrift stores, learned how to, it was a huge thrift store because I lived in condemned housing for 8 years. So I didn't have money to be spending on things. I had to be very thoughtful about how I would do that. So I learned, at the thrift store how to, what about fashion and how do I dress my skin color and my body? And if I nipped here and I tucked here and I changed this neckline down to here, what would happen?
Yeah. So tell us a little bit how you started working in identity and wardrobe, and kind of putting all those pieces together for people.
Yes, at the foundation of my work, it really is about identity. Bottom line, identity, and it's really about healing. And so for me, because I was very fragmented and really insecure and really dealing with just my life was rejection and abandonment and poverty and all sorts of things. When I found out about, wardrobe was a vehicle for healing parts of who I was, in the sense of celebrating being my unique self, or celebrating as an expression of who I am, or celebrating the dark skin that I had and the hair color. And so when you can dress your truth, like you gals probably know, is like when you really dress as an authentic expression of who you are, it begins to affirm you and heal you from the inside out.
Yeah, so I agree. When you start feeling like, when you put on a dress or something, or maybe a little jacket, I love this jacket. And it's like, I say, it's a Karen piece.
Yes.
It makes me feel like me. So, yes. So let's get back just a little bit here too, because I want to introduce Deanna, and because we all know each other. And so it's kind of about you, Kim, today. So Deanna, why don't you let us know a little bit about too, how you know Kim?
Well, first I have to say, now I am so excited because there's a reason that I get something new every time I speak. So that has just affirmed for me. It's okay. Spend the money, look good. So I had the joy of meeting Kim. Wow, it's been several years now. And now I've been part of annual goal setting workshops and special, whenever I need to figure it out moments, I call Coach Kim. Kim, I have to say, I think what I have appreciated most about you is your genuine curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Me, about me. You ask really good questions. You listen, you take lots of notes, and then you ask more really good questions. And what I have realized and really learned to value is that often I've had the answer myself, but your guidance has helped me to see the answer, to own the answer, to say the answer out loud, to act on it. And when you're able to do that, as you say, my confidence is increased. I'm able to step into my purpose, my potential, especially as a faith-based speaker. And what I've also genuinely appreciated is you too are a beautiful faith-based lady and have really helped me see God in the moment, see his plan and purpose for me as I go forward. Because sometimes I can say the right thing, but making sure that I'm doing the right thing. You've been so instrumental in that. I adore you.
Oh, thanks. I mean, really, that's really thoughtful, and I love to be your friends, and so honored to be your coach. And I will tell you one thing about Deanna is, so we've been coaching, what, 4 years maybe?
I think so.
Something like that. But you know, I have been coaching, you know, life coaching and personal brand coaching and wardrobe coaching, but more about, you know, who are you and helping you to articulate your value and pull the whole thing together. Working with Deanna over the last 4 years has really revealed to me how much I love that. And you know, so where do I want to focus my time and energy? So yes, I'm still styling, but I find it such a joy and such an honor to bear witness to folks and to just see you blossom, and to also, like you said, to recognize that it's, you know, it's not about me. I'm just a facilitator, that you're able to really find the truths and what's right for you, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So I really appreciate being your coach.
Love
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I met Kim. We met like 4 or 5 years ago, and Kim has spoken with the ladies at Fave Lifestyles. You've been a part of our community now for some time, and I have also taken your seminars. And our tagline, "Doing Life Together," came from Kim. She took my vision or my words that were all scattered about, and like you said, articulated the value and what we were trying to do here at Fave Lifestyles. And it was such a, I was so amazed. I'm like, because words have not been I have got my gift, but so just to have somebody come and just take all this clutter and put it into something beautiful. And we did some other words and verbiage around Fave Lifestyles, and did some goal setting and what did we have. That was early on when I was just first starting to monetize Fave Lifestyles.
It was,
you know,
yeah.
I'll go back and see where those initial conversations with Kim and where we are now. How exciting is that?
Yeah.
It is pretty exciting. I want to share something about you too, Karen. And before I do that, so watch how this healing thread happens. So first, I'm helping people with wardrobe and to step into their authentic essence. And when the recession hit back in 2008, I had to expand my brand. And that's when I started expanding into personal brand consulting, which is really what you're talking about, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, finding your story, being able to articulate your story through a positioning statement or through your brand messaging, bringing clarity to what you're trying to do so you can really attract more of the right opportunities, the right people, and in your sense, the right community. And that is so healing. And I know you guys know that. The power of your story personally and professionally, and bringing it together so that you can speak it out loud, isn't that healing?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's a whole part of the healing process, because really, in a lot of ways, it helps you step into your authenticity. It helps you take down masks. It helps you to increase your clarity and your confidence, because you're like, oh yeah, that's a core part of me, and I kind of let that lie dormant, but now you're bringing it forward. But I want to share about you, Karen. Something about Karen is, so for me, I have also been a faith-based speaker for years. And usually I speak in faith-based communities. But Karen was such a big part of helping me step into a more expansive space. So I like to say I was growing in the dark of the chrysalis, transforming in the dark of the chrysalis. And Karen invited me to tell my story, as she tells all of you, and invites all of you ladies to tell your story a couple years ago back at a faith event. And she said, and I want you to talk about your faith journey. I want you to talk about God, because he's huge in my life. But I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if I could do that, Karen. And she said, no, just you can own your story. It's your story. So it can't be right and it can't be wrong. Well, Karen, when you invited me to do that, it was so liberating. It was like next level of becoming more free to be more who I am authentically. I don't know that you can imagine or really truly understand how that one opportunity has helped to shape my faith-based voice, and has helped me to today be able to unveil that, lift the veil of that.
Well, I'm glad to hear your story. So that is great. And I want people, and we were talking about this beforehand too, women owning their own story, because sometimes in today's world, the people are coming at us saying, no, that's not really your story, or you're going to offend somebody if you tell you that story. But here at Faith Lifestyles, you get to own your own story, and we want you to share it, because I really truly believe that pieces of your story will touch other people. And we have experienced that with Kim, because one of your talks, I got a private message afterwards, and somebody said, I needed to hear this. So I really encourage women to come and tell their stories. And if you are listening to the story, use a shopping cart method. Take the pieces that work for you and take your cart right on by the pieces that don't work for you. But I want you to, people to be able to glean what they need from your story. So glad to.
Isn't that the wonderful part of this community, is that not only what it does for ourselves when we get to share our stories, when we get to be open and honest and share the great stuff and the stuff that doesn't go so great, and all that real life has, what it does for ourselves, and also what it does for each other, how it empowers each other, encourage each other. How cool is that? So cool.
It's so good. I think in a lot of ways it shows you also what's possible for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can listen to your story, Deanna, or listen to Karen and be like, well, gosh, if they can do it, perhaps so can I. Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I see some ladies are on here. So I was just typing. I can't see through this platform always who they are, but hello out there. We're glad you're here. So it said, glad to see you all talk about our power trio. You are three magnificent women. So thank you, whoever that is, because your name is not showing up. But we thank you for joining us. And so Kim, so tell us a little bit. So you have been coming through, we've been experiencing some really tough situations with struggles with COVID and with the racial injustice and the civil unrest that we are experiencing currently. So how has that affected what you're doing and where you're going?
Such a great question. And one that, still formulates, I think. But, as we have all been affected by this pandemic and quarantining one way or another, some folks in some communities more than others, some individuals more than others. And there's a few things that for me, when we all first started experiencing this, one thing I said to myself is, whoa, whatever is going on, I do not want to come out the other side of this pandemic the same person I was when I went in. And that was because of two reasons, really. One was I realized that this is such a unique season and such a unique time in our history, a moment of truth time in our history, actually, where we're being poked and prodded on all levels. And there's too much to learn, too much to glean, too much to face and unearth and to deal with. Like, when else are we going to be poked and prodded? Like your marriage, your relationships, your business, your identity, your freedom, right? Yeah. So that, and then moreover, I felt like I just need to be my authentic self during this time. And that meant sometimes I was a little anxious, sometimes I was a little fearful. And again, nothing's gonna help break open that chrysalis to go to the next level of authentic living for me than this. And so I birthed out a new faith-based platform, an invitation from my creator, I believe, because this was not anything that I intended. But so we do lives on many Saturdays of the month, and it's just a time to integrate more of the whole of me into who I am and to bring broader messages of identity and healing that I usually don't in a general situation. With racial, go ahead.
Oh, so is your platform, is this, so first of all, what is it called?
There you go. So it's called Spirit of Freedom Through Faith.
Okay.
So you can find that on Facebook, Spirit of Freedom Through Faith. And there's also a YouTube channel. So that's what it's called. And so, there are people of all different backgrounds. Some people might be Christian, some people might be nothing, maybe they're just exploring. Some people might come from a Catholic background or, non-denominational. And we don't always talk about, God and faith right out, but it's woven in there for sure, because that's woven into the fabric of who I am. Mm-hmm. So that's that platform. And with all of this, with racial injustice, I mean, I have stories of racism as a professional woman, as a mixed race woman, as early as last year. And so actually I have been doing quite a few interviews, if you will, but also, how about this? Domestic violence, right? Domestic violence is considered a pandemic within the pandemic during this time because of all the quarantine and staying home and staying sheltered in is another way that abusers can exercise power and control. So that's another way. So I was interviewed about domestic violence because that's part of my history as well. So it's interesting to me the way I see this, and again, it's healing, and there's always about the hope in the story, and how did I go from here to there, whatever they're asking. So there's healing in there, and there's hope in there. But what I realize is this, ladies, is for all the trauma that I've had in my life and all the adversity that I've had in my life, this time in my 49 years is my time. Because everything that I have experienced actually matters now. Whereas people didn't want to hear before. I mean, we could always talk about wardrobe, but domestic violence is an issue. Racism is an issue. Poverty and job insecurity is an issue. Addictions are an issue. Folks are dying, taking their lives because of mental health as an unintended consequence of this time. It's an issue. And it's also what I've experienced. And so it's an interesting time. And so what's happened is I've got some added courage to try and be an impact in those areas and bring my voice and my experience to those areas as well. Whereas before I would often feel like, well, I'm just kind of a misfit here, doing my thing and loving life, but really the best of me was dormant because the world wasn't there. And now the world is here. Make sense?
As a woman listening to you, Kim, how even with Coach Kim speaking here, how you have done such a wonderful job of lifting up and encouraging those of us around you, and at times not doing the same for yourself. And how as women we can be there so often for others and to make sure that we're taken care of too.
Well, and I'll tell you, just to be honest, is that, who does that lifting for me? I mean, I go through it, Deanna, but I get my biggest source of encouragement and the biggest source of someone championing me really is my faith. It's really my relationship with God. And so even though I would have walked that, I always have had him. And I think that's where and why Fear to Freedom Through Faith was birthed out now. It wasn't like I decided or I had it in my mind, oh, I want to do this. No, it was just an invitation and I knew where it was coming from. And it's like wrestling. Deanna and I talked about wrestling the other day. Wrestling is feeling all the feelings and the thoughts, whether fear or joy or uncertainty or whatever, but it's in the chrysalis that I've been wrestling with the Lord about what's really going on for years and where are we going. So I was in that chrysalis just being mindful, just listening, trying to tune my ear. And so in the wrestling, the Lord's always been there for me. So thank God he's been my champion as I've been yours. And that's really where it comes from. Folks, just to be clear, let me just say this if we have time. Two things. One, Uniquely Savvy is the name of my business. I'm in my 20th year. Uniquely Savvy actually means fearfully and wonderfully made, which comes from Psalm 139, which was a huge turning point for me when I was again, a child who was just fragmented identity. And when I learned that verse that, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, really, and worthy of celebration, worthy of being known. This is what Uniquely Savvy represents today. That's the name of my business. But I get to hold that space for all my clients. We celebrate you and your uniqueness and your fearfully and wonderfully made. How do you dress it? How do you speak it? How do you align your life with it? And then my tagline, championing your confident breakthroughs. Oh, cat's out of the bag. I can confidently say that to you and to be that for my clients because God is that for me. Yeah. So interesting that you brought that up, Deanna, because yes, I show up for my clients and I can do so because of this really beautiful, powerful way that God does that for me.
Wow, that was just powerful. I have to go back and re-listen to that piece because, one of the things that we always are doing here at Faith Lifestyles too is celebrating the women of faith. And to bring these people who are also celebrating. And I love how you are able to hold that space because I think, even myself, as I worked with you before, I wasn't confident. I had no idea what I was doing, just starting a business. Struggling through a lot of different things. And I didn't realize that, but just holding that space because you have that confidence and that celebration and to help us walk through that. And do you feel like you're going to be doing that too with this new platform that you're creating?
With the program or with the Freedom program?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would say, so what Karen's talking about is next week, actually, I'm launching a Fear to Freedom to Forgive intensive. It's a 6-week intensive. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a moment. But yes, I'll be holding space for people in a different way because this is soul work on a different level of really reclaiming the ground that was taken through assaults on your life, assaults on your soul, assaults on what not through unforgiveness, right? So I'll come back to that. Let me say this. So, I have chills to say that this intensive is starting next Thursday. It's a 6-week intensive, but really it's an invitation. There was an invitation in that chrysalis, and I said, okay, I'm going to trust you, and I will say, okay. And so this is the thought of this, is that we're in a season. I believe this wholeheartedly, that we're in a season right now that is one that's inviting us to prioritize our healing, physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, to prioritize our healing. And that healing is going to come through forgiveness. And that forgiveness is about heart health. And, just like a heart needs healthy arteries to function and to perform and to have the abundant life and to have a life that you love, there are 3 key blockers. And those 3 key blockers are deception, pride, and fear. And those are, in this intensive, we'll be talking about those, as well as the father wound, as well as the mother wound, helping you access your story so that you can heal your story, and create, new skills and new understanding. It's huge. So Karen, I will be holding space for people, absolutely. Sacred space, for sure. It's a humbling place to be. And it's all around forgiveness work. So
yeah, so give us an idea too, just because I'm curious about what does that kind of look like? Like, what is kind of that process, or what would people expect to see by attending that?
Yeah, so one, it's a safe space, it's a safe community whereby what we're starting with, Karen, and again, this program in particular, and I've never held a faith-based program, so this is the first one. But what we're doing is we are looking at the need and the power, the healing power of forgiveness, with an overlay of biblical principles as well. Mm-hmm. And biblical knowledge as well. So really, I know for me that the audience here is for people who have faith in God. So we'll be looking at scripture overlaying traditional methods and principles. So we're going to start, really, it's so important to start with the bigger concepts of forgiveness from an internal perspective, from God's perspective, and the value and the power even in the cross, and that once and for all, not guilty. Mm-hmm. And there's no shame and no condemnation. But what does that really mean? By the way, and when we talk about deception, I'm chilled to say this, but when we talk about deception, what layers of deception and deceit are getting in our way as believers from actually walking in that truth, walking in that power, accessing that power? Our whole faith journey, as if you're, Christians and believers in God and believe in the Bible, that's the whole foundation. And yet, myself included, know this to be true, yet we don't walk in that power. We don't walk in that victory, and therefore we're not walking in the healing that we need to walk in so that God can use us effectively in whatever assignments or opportunities or relationships or communities are happening or are coming. So it's like that's the healing part. So next levels of healing, the things that are keeping us stuck and immobilized so that we can run unencumbered for the things that he needs us to do, kingdom purpose-wise.
And Kim, I'm really looking forward to not only what it can do for me personally, as a mom, as a wife, as a part of my community, You know, we've all heard the voices are getting louder, angrier, more divided, more divisive. And what we can better understand when we understand fear, understand the impact of deceit, understand how pride can impact our relationships, what that can do as we show up in the world, and how it can better help us understand and help heal not only ourselves, but a greater community.
Yeah. Well, and it's so beautiful that you said that, and it's just true. It's just true. What I'm saying is, it says this in the Word, and if you believe that the Bible is the, inherent Word of God, which I do, that's where I say it's just true. But in Isaiah, it says that, ladies. It says that Jesus has come through the cross. Jesus has come to set the captives free. And when we are healed, then we are able to turn around and heal our families, to heal the ruins of the cities and the communities and the world around us. I think it's Isaiah 58 or 61. So you're absolutely right. So it's amazing. And I thank you for saying that, because it helps me to even realize again that there's truth there are thoughts and concepts that we walk out, that we think about. And then there's scripture that we can actually hold on to and affirm and help use that, and the power of the Holy Spirit, by the way, power of the Holy Spirit, to help us actually walk into what it is that we're needing to do. I was just on an interview with Mike Michalowicz. In fact, I'll share it here because he was phenomenal, I think, in the way that he was talking with me about racism and different things. It was quite something. But here's the thing, pride. Imagine, so pride does a lot of things, but pride makes me say, I'm right and you're wrong. You're wrong, Karen. Or you hurt me, Karen. Or you hurt me, Deanna. And all kinds of other things. You can look at this in your faith walk, in your professional life, as we're dealing with race relations. What would it look like if we were to apply forgiveness in these areas, such that I didn't need to be right, and you didn't need to be right, and we were able to have a different conversation, and just some levels of healing with, wow, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Just think of what two people can do when there's not the need to be right from pride, when you don't have deception over. Deception causes us to think that we're right, by the way, right? Doesn't it? Yeah. I'm right, and all these things. So, but anyway, there are many things that one can expect. But for sure, we have to start with the foundation, which is pretty enriching. We're also going to make sure, I'm saying, hey, folks, have your prayer team. Order up your prayer team for people who really want to see, the chains of unforgiveness and bitterness and hurt and trauma, the things that you've had that you'll be, as you choose, walking through during this time. Have a prayer team, because this is you're taking back ground, and you're getting healed up in the spiritual as well. And we know that when we're getting healed up in the spiritual, there's also spiritual opposition that comes. And so we're going to be starting the course with, how to access our tools and what's available. And then it's an intensive. I expect breakthrough. That's what I'll tell you. I
love breakthroughs.
Yeah, and sorry about that truck going by, but I do, because I have seen it. And this is the thing, is because I believe this is a season of healing, because I've seen it in my coaching clients who have held on to hurts and offenses and burdens and all of these things for decades. We go through some of this work together, and I'm seeing it break off. And it's not me. Like Deanna said, I might help guide you. But it's not me. And so I do believe that this is a season of healing, and it's God's grace. I think he has a unique grace over this time. So I'm saying, okay, I'll join you. I'll join the party.
Excellent.
And yeah.
Yeah, excellent, Kim. So our hope is for some healing and for some breakthroughs, and what a wonderful time to start working on us. And I think that's where it all begins, doesn't it?
It does.
And that relationship with God. So thank you for coming and joining Fave Lifestyles today, ladies. Super excited to feature you, Kim, and get to know you a little bit more and introduce you to the ladies here at Fave Lifestyles. We have some ladies who are watching with us. We have Kathy and Cindy and Debbie and Gina and Janine and Linda. Ladies, thank you for joining us today. And Deanna and Kim, any last parting words for the ladies?
See you soon.
Yes, see you soon. I just want to thank you both, really. What a beautiful way that you both have impacted me and my professional journey over the last few years. And thanks for helping me share a story of how I'm expanding too. So I appreciate you both so much.
Yes, well, it's great to be a part of the journey. So, and our tagline that you created, we are doing life together, and it is wonderful. So
It is wonderful.
okay, we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.